Hey guys, so my name is Leon, and today I kind of want to talk about two new coaching hires in around the NBA and around association. So the first one I want to talk about is Rick Carlisle becoming once again the head coach of Indiana Pacers after first being the coach for the Pacers around the mid 2000s, around 2004 ish, and then the second coaching hire I want to talk about is Udoka for the Boston Celtics. Again, his first head coach opportunity after being a long-time assistant for various coaches, including Greg Popovich and recently Steve Nash of the Brooklyn Nets. With that being said, let's jump right into the video, all right? So the first coach I'll talk about is Rick Carlisle is going back to the Indiana Pacers. I think it's interesting that he decided to go back. He does have experience working under that ownership before, and the ownership does have know how much of how good of he is as a head coach. Seeing his work in 13 seasons as a Mavericks head coach, for the most part, winning the title, having multiple winning seasons, and seeing his work firsthand as being the coach of the Pacers from 2004 2006, coaching 61 win Pacers teams. Coaching guys like Juan Test, Steven Jackson, Jameer O'Neal, and guys like that. He has experience dealing with veterans in the locker room. He's somebody who could command respect. He's somebody who's really good at X's and O's. And the reason why the Dallas situation, I feel like the reason why he decided to leave because he felt like there was too many, I don't know, it's too many people making decisions in the Dallas. Like they brought in Haraba Bulgaris, who I personally like on his appearances on Bill Simmons podcast back in the day. But they brought in guys like that, and I feel like for Carlisle's case, he had to probably get out of that situation. But anyways, I like the fresh new start with the Pacers. I'm curious to see what he would do with the team. There's a couple of guys here who are talented. He has Malcolm Baldwin. He has Sabonis. He has Miles Turner. He has guys like role players like Jeremy Lamb and Justin Holiday, and he has kind of young talent Cavs up first. So it's not like he doesn't have talent on that Pacers roster. They have some talent there. I'm curious to see how he's gonna develop him, how he's gonna what positions he'll put them in, how he's gonna make them grow, and I'm curious to see how the players will respond to his X's and O's. I'm sure, like I said, when it comes to respect, he's gonna get a lot of respect. This is not like there's nobody who has a personality like Luka Doncic on his team, not that I know of. So I think he'll be fine. I'm not saying Luka's a diva or anything. Luka's a very good player, but there's no one on this pace as far as I know who's gonna be similar to Luka in kind of like personality. So I think Will Kaz will be fine there. So I think Will Kaz could establish his culture the way how he wants to run the Pacers coaching wise, and I think he's a good X's and O's coach. Plus, he's great at managing personality because if he's a guy that was able to manage those mid 2000s Pacers team despite the Palace brawl with the Pistons and everything that kind of ruined the team. If he was to manage those guys for that long, God bless him. I think he has a good shot with the Pacers. Do I think they'll make the playoffs? I'm not sure. I feel like they're a couple of pieces away. Maybe they need to make a trade or two. They do have a lottery pick, so maybe that can help. But I feel like they need to make a few trades before they can really be a playoff contender. I feel like they could make the playoffs, but I don't think they could like be a championship contender unless they make those pieces. It's not like they got nothing on the roster, but we'll see what happens. Rick Carlisle did bring a Dallas Mavericks championship 2011 with Dirk Nowitzki and a bunch of role players at the time. Jason Kidd was kind of past his prime at the time, so it's not like Rick Carlisle cannot do it. He's one of the coaches that has the capability to do it. He has to have the solid roster to pull it off. Anyways, great coach hired by the Pacers. Good job, and I think he'll be better than the coach that they had last year, Nate Bajokin. And nothing wrong with Nate Bajokin. I heard he's a really good X's and O's guy. I just feel like when it comes to getting respect in the locker room, Nate Bajokin wasn't able to do that, unfortunately. And honestly, the Pacers made a mistake by firing Nick McMahon, who's really good. He's doing a good job with the Atlanta Hawks now. They're in the conference finals. They did a bad job firing him too soon and bringing Nate Bajokin, who good X's and O's guy, but didn't get respect in the locker room. So that's unfortunate. But anyways, Rick Carlisle will be somebody who can probably fix the issues with the Pacers in terms of that stuff. But anyways, let's move on to the next coach hire, Ime Udoka, somebody who's gonna get his first shot actually being a coach now. He's a long-time assistant with the Spurs and recently this past year the Brooklyn Nets. So I'm sure he learned a lot from Greg Popovich and Steve Nash to kind of learn how he wants to coach his team, what kind of playing style he wants to do offensively, defensively, what kind of systems he may want to bring in. I think it's a good job by Brad Stevens giving him the opportunity to, bring him into a Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown led team, especially they being young stars, young leaders on the team. And I feel like you could bring a veteran coach, but I think it's better to have like a young head coach to kind of, you know, have this roster develop. And that's, Brad Stevens no longer being a coach now. Now he's being a general manager. He has insight of what kind of coach does those guys need, being that he coached them himself, not the Pacers. The Celtics did a bunch of interesting decisions, having Danny Ainge step down and Brad Stevens now being in the front office, doing general manager, doing stuff like that. So it was interesting to see what kind of moves Brad Stevens will pull off. He always traded Kemba and a few picks to get, to reacquire Al Horford, who's a good veteran you could bring into the locker room. Somebody who even Udoka could, work with to build a culture that even Udoka wants to build in the Boston Celtics, locker room, and also to echo the play style he wants to put out there too. I think as a even Doka, he has a good chance of bringing the Celtics team back to the playoffs. Do I think they'll win the title or be a title contender? I'm not sure because I'll be honest. Just like the Pacers, the Celtics are a few moves away and they're a few pieces away from really having real talent. They have talent, but I feel like the talent kind of decreased over the years. So maybe I think they're probably a few wing players short because we're having Jason Tatum play the four now and having Jaylen Brown play the two or three. I feel like they missing a Gordon Hayward type player, and they tried to use Evan Fournier to place that spot. And I think Evan Fournier did okay, but I don't even know if he's gonna resign. So I think Boston's missing one or two of those type of players, especially now with Marcus Smart. You know, was kind of the wing player at that spot, and now Marcus Smart will probably play more point guard, which I actually like for Boston to have that point guard. But you give Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum more playmaking responsibilities. But saying that to say this, Mark Smart won't be playing the wings no more. He'll probably play both of the guard spots, to be honest. And Boston has a lot of changes they need to do. But I think that trade to start bringing Ime Doka, new coach, fresh new boys is a start too. I think the Celtics can get back to the playoffs, but can they win the title? They need to add a few pieces or two. So I'm excited for Udoka. Congrats to him. I think he'll make the playoffs with this team. I don't know if they'll win the title. But anyways, those are my thoughts on Rick Carlisle going back to the Pacers and Udoka being the coach of our Celtics. It's gonna be an interesting off season. It's gonna be interesting next season. Seeing those guys as head coaches. I can't really see how they're gonna change the roster and their playing styles of each of those rosters. So yeah, that's it. That's all my thoughts. I have a trade video I want to do, revisiting the Kemba Walker trade because I did do a video on Kemba Walker trade before he got traded, so I kind of want to do a in-depth analysis of that video coming up. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. More videos come soon, and adios.